Thank you very much. First of all, I should start saying that I'm a great fan of Poland. I'm a great fan of long-term strategic thinking. I wish to grant my, let's say, gratitude to Mr. Tamborski, and I wish, let's say, all Central and Eastern European countries to have the same, let's say, active, let's say, persons that will fight for national interests of their countries. So great respect. I'm very happy that I'm here, and I'd like to say a few words about Romania. And I will start with a macro picture. You'll see here some bubbles. It's important to mention that bubble size represents the public debt per inhabitant. So the bigger, you could see Greece, you could see United States. If you will extract California from the United States, you'll see that it's even worse than Greece, but it's a different story here. Also, below 60% public debt against GDP, it's that line, dotted line, horizontal line. You'll see almost all Central and Eastern European countries there. So from this point of view, this is my view, that you'll see here also Italy on the left side and Spain on the right side. I think it's more difficult to decrease public debt than budget deficit, because you'll need more time to do this. So you have here a very small bubble, a red one. This is Romania, and you could see coming from 2009 to 2010, 2011. My forecast, because in my previous life I was an economist, my forecast is that probably in maximum 2 years, Romania will be in that, let's say, square, Maastricht criteria square, and probably we'll see few economies in the European Union that could reach those targets. Of course, in 2010, probably Romania had the toughest austerity measures in the whole Europe. 25% public salaries cut, more than 100,000 public employees fired, VAT increase from 19 to 24. So very tough measures. For that reason, we are improving massively, I would say, and unfortunately, the international market, it's not differentiating enough between countries these days, but it's a different story. Investors are always right. The main point here is that theoretically, we as Poland, again, Poland is one of the best economies, I would say, in the European Union. Romania is, of course, gradually improving macroeconomic figures. Of course, as a macroeconomist, this will affect GDP growth. And as a macroeconomist, I would be much happy to see not 6% GDP growth as we had before 2008, but half, 3%. And it's feasible, it's achievable, and of course with EU funds absorption rate increase, this probably will happen. Also for an equity investor, probably would be very interesting to have a very stable currency. As you know, Romanian Central Bank has a managed floating regime. This is the red line, this is Euro-RON, and you could see that it's one of the most stable currencies in the region, and probably will continue for the next future. Also, it's very good because you have here the last 2.5 years. RON is weaker versus end of 2008, and this is also very good for our economies. It's not only the stable one, but it's at a level that will support at least exports in the future. This is table with a lot of figures. Yesterday I saw a very interesting presentation. The father of BRIC acronym presented a very interesting idea that for the next 10 years, CE region will bring more growth in terms of GDP, delta GDP growth, versus India. And it's true also, having in view that Romania is the second biggest country after Poland, half in terms of inhabitants. But you could see that in the last 10 years, Romanian GDP increased by 3 times. If we'll have only half of the GDP growth that we had in the last 10 years, we'll double in 2020. Also, almost 80% GDP per capita growth, because it's very difficult to go lower from 6,000 euro GDP per capita, as Romania has in this moment. So I would say there is huge potential here, upward potential, and at least, theoretically, Romania should grow at least 1 percentage points faster than Eurozone. Also, it's a base effect. One more thought, it's important to pay attention that it's one thing to grow by 5, 6, 8% from 1,000 euro per capita, GDP per capita, and it's a totally different quality of GDP growth from 6,000 euro or from 8,000 euro, like in Central and Eastern Europe. In terms of Bucharest Stock Exchange, of course, it's a frontier market. We can't compare with Poland. We are calling it kind of new start. Trades are probably around 2005 year. But next slide probably is more important in terms of our performance. BET is the main index on Bucharest Stock Exchange. You'll see first quarter result 26%. Of course, Greece came. We have only 7%, but still it's a plus. Few exchanges in the world has year to date a plus in terms of index, main index. And also this is coming probably also due to the fact that here you have market capitalization against GDP. The red chart is Romania. So it's a 10% market capitalization GDP, like it's even lower than in Bulgaria, it's 16%. Lower than Greece, 12%. So lower than that, it's very difficult to believe. And as Minister Vulpescu mentioned, this very ambitious program for privatizations, for floating minorities shares on Bucharest Stock Exchange will change dramatically. We could see even at least 50% more turnover due to this very ambitious privatization program. And I'm very happy to say that finally the Romanian government decided to develop an alternative for financing local companies, not only banking loans but also capital markets. And last SPO, Transelectrica, oversubscribed by more than 60%, was a sign that the government and the previous government and also the actual government will continue, and you saw here very clear commitment. Of course, you won't see the figures. There are some traded companies. The most traded companies, Fondul Proprietatea, huge potential in my view, extremely well managed by Templeton, especially by Mr. Greg Konechki. It's a very important company for us, and of course there are also other companies, but theoretically I would say here theoretically we see only upward potential. Dividend yields for 2011, we selected here probably one of the most traded companies. You'll see it's for the first time in the last 10 years, 5 years, they are above let's say ROBOR. It's like VBOR, it's the local index. But it's important to mention that between 7 to even 19% dividend yields. So very nice dividend yields, a very stable currency. Some of them are natural monopole, and theoretically it's kind of buying a sovereign bond, Romanian sovereign bond, having viewed that with pretty interesting dividend yields. Of course, we have some Romanian funds. Discounts are huge, in my opinion. And this is not only valid for Fondul Proprietatea, also for other funds. And again, this, in my view, is showing long-term potential for growth. We have here a few figures. They are at least the minimum values. So in the next 18 months, theoretically, we could have up to 1 billion euro coming from for the government, coming from this privatizations plan. And last point regarding Bucharest Stock Exchange, Why it's a new start? Because in January we had elections. Until January, only small brokers were in the council, represented in the council. Of course, they were focused only on retail clients, Romanian retail clients. From January this year, for the first time, big names like Templeton, big banks, big pension funds, big brokers are represented in the council. And of course, they turn their attention, and we are committed to bring international standards to Bucharest Stock Exchange. For this reason, it's a new start according to our view. We learn from mistakes from Petrom. For example, you don't have to open an account in Romania because we have turnaround transactions already in place. So we decrease bureaucracy, and we'll do a lot of other things to improve foreign investors' attention and attraction to Romania. Thank you very much for your attention.